to be honest, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like growing up as a kid, like I wanted to go to Miami out of high school, right? Albert was going to Miami. You were going to Miami. I wanted to go to Miami. Like I was dead set on that.
I'm feeling good. At least feeling great. Yeah. How are you feeling, bro? How are you feeling? How's the first few weeks?
What, being married?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's good. You know, like for me and Claudia, not much has changed. We just kind of made it official. You know, we've been living together for 2 years. We like to say we had the marriage for our parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, but all in all, like now we're looking back at it all, we're so happy. Like we did it. We did the whole thing. It was fun. We had a good time. Um, I enjoyed it way more than I even thought I was.
I'm
Which is
glad.
good. Which is that's what you want, though. You know what I
Yeah, of
mean?
course.
You don't want it to go and be like, that sucked. You know what I mean? They say it's her day, and it was her day and stuff. But dude, genuinely, I really enjoyed it, and I never thought I would enjoy my wedding so much like I did. And all the credit to her though, because I didn't do shit. So yeah, like I said, man, you were there at the wedding. I was like, she said, "Here's the check." I took the check. That's what I did. What do you think about this? I like it. What do you think about this? Maybe we can find another option. You know. But it was no, but it's been good. 2 weeks. It's kind of nice just saying finally my wife. I was starting to feel like a child, like my fiance,
My
my
fiance.
fiance, because I've been saying it for like 2 years already.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny. Today's like National Girlfriend Day,
You didn't post anything,
and I was like,
baby.
damn, dude, I don't got a girlfriend no more. I got a wife. So we
Oh
made it
man,
past that.
dude, bro. My
Yeah,
favorite part was I forget his name. Who was the homie that was dancing?
Jose Luis.
Bro, he had me dying. Dude, Sosa
Yeah,
just posted a video of him dancing. I don't know where it was.
no. Oh,
I
you're talking about Miguel.
Oh, me, yeah.
Miguel. Yeah, no, Miguel's hilarious. He loves to dance, bro. He
Bro,
loves to
I
dance.
was dying, and it was the same way. It was, bro.
Yeah.
Sosa's like
So
commentating in the background.
he always dances wherever he goes, and obviously when he came to our wedding, like he doesn't know my family very well. He doesn't
Uh-huh.
know all the people at the wedding, and he came to my house the day before the wedding, and we're like, Miguel, you gotta dance. And he was like, I don't know. And I told him, Miguel, if you dance, I'll jump in, man. And you know me, it's not my thing. You know what I mean? But I said I owed up to. He started dancing. I said, all right, here I
Let's do
go.
it.
And then you jumped in, and it was great, dude. But he's hilarious, super good people, super
Oh,
good people, and he just he's a fun guy. Likes to have fun, and he's
dude,
been good to us.
he
So
made it. He made it amazing, bro. It was
oh,
so
for
much
sure,
fun, dude. And
for
bro,
sure.
how was it getting ready for all the choreographed dances? I know that's not your favorite thing in the world, but
Bro, so here's the story on that. Claudia was like, "Hey, we're doing this." And I was like, "No, we're not." And I and I just blamed it on David, my brother.
Mhm.
And I was like, Claudia, David's not gonna be able to do this. Like, and if David can't do it, and she's like, he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it. And I was like, well, no, we're not gonna do it. It's the day before our wedding. None of us, Christian and Jose Luis, knew the dance more or less already because Claudia did it 2 weeks before our wedding when
Uh-huh.
she went to a wedding in Miami.
Okay.
So they put it together and stuff. It's the day before our wedding, or the night before, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do this," and I was like, "We're not gonna do this." It was, I think it was a minute long, and I started doing it, and I was like, ah, and just to make her happy, we're in my living room, we're doing it, and I'm like, I figured it out. Believe it or not, I couldn't
Yeah,
believe it.
yeah.
I figured it out pretty quick. I was like, oh, this is pretty easy. But the problem was my brother, and my brother hadn't done it at all. And we get to the venue at 10 in the morning, and he gets there like 10:20. We're getting married at what, 5, something like that. And we're like, David, you got to learn this now, bro. And we're there, empty venue, phone on the table, and we're showing him. And my brother, just like me, maybe a little worse than me. We got 2 left feet, man. He might be worse than me. But dude, he pulled through, and we were just kept going. And we did it, and we got to the point where we were all right. Like me, Christian, Jose Luis, we were good. My brother was like, you know, but we let it just like kind of simmer in his head. And then when it got close, we did it again and he got it. We were like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. And sure enough, bro, we went out there, we did it, and it was fun. And I'm glad we did it.
Dude,
It
he
was
killed it,
cool.
bro. He killed it.
No, I know. I tried. I mean, if you know me, if I'm gonna do something, I'm not gonna half-ass it. At least I'm gonna try. You know what I mean?
You went all the way in, bro. You
I
went all
did.
the
I
way
did.
in.
I did. I did. I did. For me, that was all the way in
Dude,
for
it was
sure.
beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Oh man. All right, let's go. Let's go all the way back. Let's take a
Yeah.
trip down memory lane, bro. You ready or what?
I
Damn, bro.
think
I
I'm
saw
ready.
the ring. I saw the ring,
I mean,
bro.
well,
Yeah,
this is the rubber one. This is the one I gotta work with,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't mind it.
Did you
I'm
get
already
different
used to it.
colors? You got different colors?
So I got it from like a company, and they give you like the actual ring and a rubber one. It comes in like the thing, and I was like, and you get 2 free ones if you lose it or you get fat. And you know, men, we're probably gonna lose it, and we may get fat. So I was like, hey, I get 2 free ones, man. So I went with that one.
Oh man. No, that's
Yeah.
dope. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go all the way back. All the way
All
back,
right.
bro. Tell me the first memory. The first memory of you picking up a baseball bat and when was it, bro? Give it to me. I was gonna ask you if you had any other loves other than baseball first too. So
No, man. It was baseball from the beginning, and it all really started because of my grandfather. Baseball wasn't in my family at all. Like my dad didn't play baseball, but my grandfather loved watching the Florida Marlins. Like he's watching the Florida Marlins, so they was always on there, always on there, always on there. And we lived in Homestead when I grew up, and this was before Homestead was the Homestead that we know now. There wasn't anything out there. You know, there was no. There was schools, but they weren't good schools. There was leagues, but they probably weren't too good. There was barely. I remember like growing up and to go to a grocery store, it was like 30 minutes just to go to a grocery store. It was that kind of homestead. So not the one that we know now, but from what they tell me, when I was like 3, 4, it was like I wanted to play baseball. I wanted to play baseball, and I grab a bat and I didn't know what I was doing. And I swing it, and my dad was like, "Man, this kid wants to play baseball." And my dad always tells me the story like he would throw me 7 balls and I'd hit 6. And he's like, dude, this kid can hit a ball. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't know anything. You know what I mean? And he would tell me, dude, I throw you 6 balls, 7 balls, and you hit 6. I was like, holy cow, I can't even do that. You know? And that's how it kind of started. And then when it kind of started getting serious, in terms of like I was really begging my parents, like, I really want to play, I really want to play, I really want to play. And then that's when um, I was 7 years old. My brother was 5. We were starting to get older. We were going to school already. My parents we lived in Homestead, but they worked in Coral Gables and Brickell. So life was away from Homestead. And you know, Miami traffic, it's worse nowadays, but like they dropped me off at school, go to Gables, go to Brickell, do it all over again. So I was like, I remember nights of being in the car an hour and a half to get home through all that traffic. And they made the move of like, hey, the kids are going to school over here. Our work is over here. And this kid wants to play baseball. And that's when we found Hialeah Gardens, believe it or not. That's where it all started. They had like a little academy. When I was 7, it was called like Fast Pitch or Fast Ball. That was the academy. And it was just to kind of get kids going. And I started there. My first year was just kind of like doing those practices with some, you know, random coaches I can't even remember. And then the next year was, you know, U7. I started playing baseball for the Atlanta Braves. And I tell everybody this story because, you know, I'm an outfielder my whole life.
uh-huh.
I show up to a baseball field for the first time with like a team, and the coach is like, "Hey, you ever played baseball before?" And I was like, "Nah." Well, you see that green grass out there, kid? Go stand out there. And that's it, bro. I stayed out there the rest of my life, and I no regrets. So I started playing the outfield. But yeah, started at 7 years old, man. And from there on, and you know, I didn't look back. It just kind of like evolved into something I guess I was pretty good at, and little by little, you know, like all of us, we dream about playing in the big leagues, and it might not at that age you're like, oh, like I want to be a big leaguer, but you aspire, like you see these people and you're like, oh, I would love to do something like that. And then I would say as you get older, you keep playing until that age that you kind of go like, oh wait, I'm like, I'm pretty good. Like I can actually do this, you know?
Wait, did you? I don't mean to cut you off, but did you
Yeah.
know you were good when you were like 6 and 7? Were you like the
No,
man
so
then too? Or
no, so I was yeah, so I was the man all the time. I
you're
was I
bad, you're bad, you're bad, Danny
I'm sorry, yeah,
Reyes.
my bad. No, and I and
About
I
damn time, bro. I've been asking you to say that for like 20
no, I
years
know,
now, bro.
I know.
Jeez.
The whole like, dude, it was like I was always good, and I was like, you know me, I was the nice kid, and I just kind of did my thing, but
Humble.
I was good. I was good. I was good. I was good, and I would say the my first like big adjustment was U9. Was the first time like facing kid pitch, and at U9, believe it or not, Andrew Cabezas, he used to play for the Orioles in our league. This guy smokes me in the face.
He was already pitching, of
He was
course.
already pitching. Unite
Nutcase. Yeah.
smokes me in the face, and boo, that was like the end of it. I was like, I'm done. I'm not I'm not doing this. And I would go to my mom, and I was stepping in the bucket. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
want to know. I had no confidence, none of that. And my mom was like, "Hey, you want to quit? You're gonna go tell your coach you're gonna quit." And I was like, "Damn, I can't really do that." You know what I mean? Until one day, like it was, it's a confidence sport. I got in there, I stepped in the bucket, but I smoked one.
Ooh.
And it was that feeling of like, oh, I like this. And from there on, I didn't look back. And
Oh,
like anything, and I work in this now, like kid pitch is a big adjustment, dude. Like you go from like the coach, like, oh, hit the ball. So now you got kids that are throwing balls everywhere, and you're like, do I really want to do this? Like this is serious now. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like they're not letting me hit it. They don't want me to hit it anymore. You know?
Bro, when
So
when I first got into kid pitch, I felt like the kid from what is it? What's that movie that the guy's like scared and he has the sword and he stands in the outside corner
yeah,
back
I
part of the
forgot,
box?
but I can imagine it. I can imagine it, and I'm
Bench
so many
warmers, bench
people are like
warmers,
bench
bench.
warmers,
Yes.
bench warmers. So many of us are like that, and I mean it's almost normal, dude. You got this hard ball coming at you, and a kid that has no idea where it's going, and then you're like, well, what am I doing right now? You know?
Yeah, I didn't feel like
Um,
that till I got to rookie ball again. And
yeah, but back to your like your question of like when I knew I was good. I was always good, but I would say seventh grade. Seventh grade, I'm in Miami Springs Middle School, and literally I was hitting with Willie Romay. Those Willie Romay was my first lessons ever, and I remember like taking my lessons with Willie and Albert Amora being there, and Manny Machado being there, and me seeing those guys work and going like, oh, like, yeah, I can do that. I can look like that. And little by little, dude, like I started learning, and once I started like knowing, I was like, I'm good. Like I'm good, good. Like I can really, really do this. And then I made that transfer over to Matter in eighth grade. And I think that was the big like, holy cow. Like you're better than most kids because I go to Matter, I'm in eighth grade. I'm in eighth grade. And I looked up to Albert Almora all the time because he was like almost like it was everything I wanted to be. A good outfielder, a good player, played for Team USA, eventually went in the first round, played in the big, and I looked up to Albert and he was at Matter and Albert played in varsity, I think in like seventh or eighth grade as well. And I was like, I want to do that. 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 So I went to Matter. It was in between McCarthy and Matter. And because of Willie Romaine. Willie Romaine's like, hey, you can go to McCarthy because they have a good baseball program, or you can go to Matter and you can play as an eighth grader. And I basically followed Albert, like we all kind of did.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
We all followed Albert, and I ended up at Matter. And then it was like I'm playing with the high school kids. I'm playing on JV, and then I'm playing on JV with Fidel Pino, I believe. And we're playing at Florida Memorial, dude. I'm in eighth grade, swinging a cherry bomb back in the day.
Woo!
I know. Throwback. JC's cherry bomb.
Yeesh.
That's all I would use. And dude, I hit a bomb over the fence at Flomo, and Flomo is huge.
Huge.
And I'm in eighth grade, and it was like, holy cow, where's this kid come from? And then that's where kind of DeRosa kind of caught word of me, And then they invited me to a varsity practice in 8th grade. DeRosa saw me practice. And then I started hanging around DeRosa, and DeRosa was like, hey, I want you to come out to this team called the All-American Prospects.
Wait, hold on. This was your eighth grade
Eighth,
year. You
eighth
hadn't
grade year.
played varsity yet? You hadn't played
No,
varsity yet.
I've never like, it was 7th grade. I'm playing, by the way, I didn't start playing travel ball till I was 12, almost 13. So I played rec ball all the way to basically 12 years old.
Dang.
So I'm just blowing these kids out of the water in rec ball. And everybody wants me to like, hey, come do this. Come play travel ball. And my dad's like, I don't know. Like, we don't want to get into that. We don't want to really travel until like, I think somebody or somehow somebody got something like, hey, your kid needs to do this.
He's better than everybody there too.
Yeah, he needs to do this. And that's when they started like a little travel ball league in Miami Springs. It was like the Firehawks. And that's when I started playing travel ball. Then I played travel ball 12, 13, and then 14. 14 was my last year of travel ball. And then I started, basically, I'm in 8th grade, but I'm going to high school because Matters in middle high school.
Yeah.
And that's when I got to know DeRosa. And when I met DeRosa, he saw that I was good. And obviously DeRosa's been around Machado. He's been around Albert. He's been around all these guys, Castellanos. You know, his talent. He played pro ball and went to Miami, did all this stuff. And he was like, I want you to go out to this, a trial for the All-American Prospects. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. You know what I mean? And we go out to Vero Beach, Florida, the old Dodgers spring training complex. And I'm nervous. Dude, I've never done anything like this. I've only played against children, and I get out there, and this for the first time ever in my life, when I did that, I was like, this feels serious. Like, this is not like, I don't feel
fun
like
anymore.
Yeah, I don't feel like a kid right now. And basically, it was a tryout for the All-American Prospects. All these kids get out there, and they colored us in shirts. So blue was you were juniors, and then red was sophomores and freshmen. And then I was the only kid in a white shirt because I was in 8th grade. So everybody would ask, like, why is that one kid in a white shirt? Oh, he's in 8th grade. Oh, he's in 8th grade. Okay, whatever. And the trial goes on, bro, and it's like, who is that kid in a white shirt? And dude, I'm playing against juniors, sophomores, juniors, and freshmen, and I'm lighting these kids up. And dude, I remember to this day, we were doing BP and all that stuff, and that was easy for me. I go, I do BP, I throw, blah, 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 blah. But then you got to get in the game.
Yeah.
And you get in front of these kids that are 4 years older than you. And bro, I lit up these kids. And that's when I was like, holy cow.
Damn.
I'm pretty good. And that's when people started catching word, like Danny Reyes. And that's when, like, the schools, you know, that all that starts first.
Yeah.
And then it was like Florida and Miami, FIU, CF, all these schools were like, oh, this kid. And all that talk started.
Bro.
So yeah.
No, my bad, bro. I don't mean it. No. I don't mean to cut in, but I'm in awe, bro. So when you go to that tryout, right? You go to the All-American, like, you know, the prospect tryout or whatever, and do you start playing with like kids your age still, or do you just automatically get onto like the 16U, 17, 18U, whatever team it was? Like, were you playing like with Pete and stuff, or?
No, I was playing up. Yeah, so I was playing up
with JC and Kevin.
No, with Pete. So Pete is 2 years older than me. So I was playing with like the 16s, 15s.
Yeah, so our age, my guys. Yeah,
I was playing with those guys, and I was 14. And another thing, I never had swung a wood bat before. And then I go play in these tournaments, and now I'm swinging a wood bat for the first time. And that was a huge adjustment for me because I've only swung a metal bat, right? And then I go to, like, my dad buys me this $100 Marucci. And now I'm like, dude, my dad bought me $100 bat, and I'm like scared to break it.
Oh man.
And he till one day he's like, dude, swing the bat. If it breaks, it breaks. And I was like, bet.
Okay.
And after that, it was like, blah, 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 blah. And then the wood started coming in after that. But yeah, man. I was playing with Pete Alonso and stuff like that. That's how I got to know Pete in high school before I met him at Florida. But yeah, I was playing with older kids, and it was an adjustment. Now, what really helped me that summer was that I ended up playing varsity baseball in 8th grade in high school, and then I
That's what
played
I
that
was
summer.
wondering. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
Obviously, you ended up. Oh, because the tryout was what? Like
the tryout. Yeah, like any tryout for
it
these
was
teams, it's in the
before. It was
fall.
before the season.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's in
okay,
the
okay.
fall and stuff. And he goes, "Hey, go do that." I go do it,
You were
and
talking
then
about the Flomo game. That was JV in the fall, like the
that was
fall
JV in the
season.
fall. Yeah, so Flomo's JV in the
Oh
fall.
shoot!
This is all fall, all fall, all fall, all fall. Yeah, so I go to Matter. I'm playing, now I'm gonna go play fall ball, and they throw me in JV, respectively. Who am I? You know what I mean?
Yeah, whatever.
Um, and then I tear up JV, and they're like, "Well,
For the
let's
season, you're
bring
gonna
him
play
up and
varsity.
see what he does." You know what I mean? So they invite me to a fall varsity practice. I'm in 8th grade, and I put on a show in BP. Granted, back in the day of the drop threes.
Yeah.
And that's when DeRosa saw me. And DeRosa was like, "Who's this kid?" And then right after that, he invites me to the All American Prospects thing.
Dang,
Right?
bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, he invites me there. I go off there, and I make varsity. When I make varsity, my first listen, you're gonna love this story.
Oh,
So growing up, dude, like any kid, and this is back in the day more. I used to watch YouTube all the time and watch all these kids hit bombs, Bryce Harper, this, that, whatever. I used to watch David Thompson's highlights for whatever reason.
me too, bro.
For
Me too.
for whatever reason, David Thompson's highlights would always come up on my YouTube. So I'd watch this kid, 18 home runs, esto lo otro, and I'm
Basketball,
like, dude,
football, everything.
everything. This guy's a god. So my first tournament, preseason tournaments at Westminster, and I'm
David
walking on the
Thompson.
field, and listen to this. I'm walking on the field. I have Albert next to me, and he probably won't remember this, but I'm a kid, and I walk by, and I'm like, oh my god, that's David Thompson. Oh my god, bro! It was like the biggest. I was like, I thought it was a celebrity. I was like, I'm playing on the same field as David Thompson, and that's when I got nervous. I was like, oh my god, like this is a dude. What am I doing here right now? Like, what am I doing here right now? And I got through my first game in varsity, and we were facing some guy that was either going to Dade or Miami. I don't remember. He was like mid to high 80s. I'm in 8th grade, and I was getting blown up. Fair enough. And I remember like being in the dugout and talking under my breath. I'm like, man, that's so hard. And I think Albert caught word of it. And he goes, bro, that's like, it's mid 80s, bro. Like, what's wrong with you? That's nothing. And I was just like, man, 14, bro. Give me some slack, dude. And so my first game didn't go great or whatever. And then my second game was against Brito. My second game was against Brito in that same tournament.
Against Manny?
No, Manny had graduated, or he
right.
signed the year before me, starting high school baseball. And I remember DeRosa was like, "Hey, dude, like you could do this, blah 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 blah." He's like, "Look away and react inside, bro." The next at bat, I hit the furthest ball. It cleared the tennis courts back there. You know what they got back there.
Yeah.
So my first hit on
305.
Yeah. I know the field's small, but
no, I'm
my
kidding.
first hit was a home run on varsity, and then it was kind of like it was from there on. I kept going, and then the cool part, a story that a lot of people don't know. I was going to play left field, and Albert ended up getting hurt my 8th grade year. He got hurt.
The golf
part. Yeah, he stuck his leg out in a golf cart. So then I had to step up and play center field behind the greatest center fielder to come out of Florida ever. And I got to play center field as an 8th grader. And that went well and everything. And Albert did play that year, but he ended up DHing, I think, because he couldn't run and stuff. And that was, you know how far back that was? People don't even know this name. That was back when Lale Sports were videotaping our games.
Yes, bro.
Lale Sports, man. It was a big deal back in the day. So,
dang, bro. Shout out Johnny Ruiz.
Johnny Ruiz. Yeah, Johnny Ruiz, Lale Sports.
Crazy. That's right, dude. I'll never
Yeah.
forget. I saw a video before I went to Matter. This might have been. Did you? Uh, did you guys play at UM at all that year?
No, no, no,
Because I think there was
no.
like a tournament or something
Yes, there
there that
was.
Albert pitched at.
Yes, that
At
was so Albert did pitch at Miami. That was the year before I got there. So Albert
uh,
would have been a sophomore when he pitched at Miami. Yes,
like
and
'92. I
he threw
on,
like 90 something miles an hour
I saw it
as
on
a
TV,
sophomore.
bro. I'll never
Yeah,
forget. I was like, "What the heck? I'm watching this on
yeah.
TV."
That was the biggest talk. Like, and then I remember like them talking about it and being like, "Why is Albert pitching? Like, you got to save the arm." La 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 la. It was funny. Yeah,
But
but
isn't it crazy? You hit on something earlier that I wanted to ask you about.
yeah,
How much of an impact do you think was it for you to be surrounded by so many like great baseball players at such a young age? Because like imagine like kids where you're at now, right? Like how many like major league like animals are there around you? And like you grew up around them all the time. Like you just
I
said Manny Machado's name, like
really
it was
another
like
name.
whatever, you
Yeah,
know.
no, bro. Honestly, I think being from Miami, sometimes we take that for granted, and especially and nowadays, I would say even more with like the platform that Sosa has there, because like now you're a kid and you can run into these guys, no big deal, and they're just in there working out and hitting. But as a kid from Miami, we take it for granted, and obviously Miami being a hot spot for a lot of guys working out in the off season and stuff because it's warm and they can do whatever they need to do. But dude, what an influence, you know? And like I said, you take it for granted. But having people like, and it doesn't even have to be a name like Manny Machado. We can talk about our coaches in high school like Danny Santiesteban and Mike
Yep.
DeRosa, where Danny played junior college baseball, played professional baseball, played independent baseball. DeRosa playing at the University of Miami and then playing professionally as well. Like that doesn't really exist. Like you don't just like run into people like that. And sure enough, we did. And luckily we did. And I don't know exactly what brought those people there. I know Danny came to Matter because of Albert.
Mhm,
I don't know if DeRosa ended up at Matter because of Albert or because of Eddie, Coach Eddie.
mhm.
But dude, it was like, we were so lucky to be surrounded with people like that because honestly, from a young age, we started like hearing, understanding, and learning like what real baseball is. You know what I mean? People don't understand that. There's youth baseball, there's high school baseball, and then there's real baseball. Real baseball is kind of like when you leave high school. That's when it kind of gets real. And we start hearing about that from the age of 15, which is such an advantage because there's kids that are playing around here. They step foot on a college campus. It's just like, holy cow, what just happened? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So no, for sure, super, super, super lucky to have people like that around us all the time.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about the recruiting process? Like when did that all start for you? Because obviously being like I remember hearing about you when I was a sophomore at
Yeah,
Springs and like it was like a again like an aura around your name. It sounded like we were just like you. I used to watch videos of David Thompson,
yeah,
Albert, and but then all of a sudden we're hearing about this kid that's 2, 3 years younger than everybody, and
yeah,
it's like Danny Reyes, Danny Reyes. When did the recruiting process
yeah.
start for you? When's that the first time you heard from a coach, got in touch with a coach? How did that go?
I was 15. I was 15, and I went and played in the Worldwood Bat. So it was my freshman year. I played in the Worldwood Bat, and the Worldwood Bat's for draft guys. So I got invited to Worldwood Bat with the All American prospects. That's where I played with Pete for the first time and stuff. I go to the Worldwood Bat at 15 years old, and I hit 600 for like 4 bombs against people that are signing. You know what I mean? And it was like, oh, this dude's for real now. You know what I mean? Like he's 15 and we're planning on giving this guy money to
Yeah.
not go to school and he's hitting them. So that's when Florida, Miami, LSU, the bigger schools were like, okay, we're jumping on it now. And that's when I got the first phone calls. And back in, I don't know, things have changed. Back in the day, it was like coaches, like your summer coach would be like, hey, this guy's waiting for your call. Here's his number. And then you would call them for the first time.
Yeah.
And then I would talk to them and they would, how anything goes. They recruit you and come to our campus, do this, do that. and then it started like I had the visits, and then after the visits came the offers, and then I was pretty set on like I wanted to stay in Florida.
Mhm.
Like I didn't want to like go too far. And to be honest, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like growing up as a kid, like I wanted to go to Miami out of high school, right? Albert was going to Miami. You were going to Miami. I wanted to go to Miami. Like I was dead set on that. And along the process, you know, I would say in the recruiting process, there's people that are older than you that are already at these schools, you know, and not to mention names and stuff, but people are at schools and not everybody has the same experiences. And that's something I learned myself, right? Not everybody has the same experiences everywhere, and you can get influenced. Like, and then you go, man, like, I don't want to go there. I don't want that to happen to me. And at the same time, too, when I did end up committing to Florida, a big part of like why I wanted to go to Florida, two things. One, I was slightly influenced, right? Two, the working kid in me. I go to that campus, and this is different, you know.
Mhm.
And I had just visited Miami, and I get there, and I go, bro, they got an indoor facility.
Oh.
I said, rain or shine, I get my work in, bro.
I'm gonna hit
And
every
that,
day, every day, every
listen,
day.
listen, that was big for me, dude. That was like, I was like, it doesn't matter what the weather is, it doesn't matter the time it is. When I want to hit, I can go hit. And that was a big knock for me at Miami. And now, thankfully, they figured all that stuff out and they have a state of art
Yeah.
facility, and that's not a thing anymore. It's a thing of the past. But back in the day, dude, that's a big deal. And you also know that like how much facilities matter, especially when you're a kid when you're a kid in high school. You're not thinking about who's committing there, who's
None
going to
of
be there
that.
when you get there. You're just going, look at this place.
What do I get?
What do I get? What's in it for me?
Yep.
And then you step foot there, and then you really find out what's really in it for you. But that was a big one for me. That was a big one for me. But yeah, man.
Dang, bro. So talk to me about stepping on that. Oh, wait, hold up, bro. We skipped
Yeah,
something really big. My bad. My bad. My
yeah,
bad. My bad. So, obviously you commit to Florida, but
yeah,
when you
yeah,
committed to Florida, what were the chances you were actually gonna step foot on that campus?
bro. In my head,
Negative.
it was I was committing there just to commit there. It was just like it was a stepping stone into like, yeah, I got to do this to have this in my back pocket, but I'm never going there. I never watched the University of Florida play one game ever. The first game I watched was in the College World Series. It was after the draft because I knew I was going there. And you know what? I want to laugh. I'm watching this game, and it was the first time I ever seen Kevin O'Sullivan away from just talking to me, where you know he's all happy and stuff. And I'm looking at this guy on the TV, and I was like, man, that guy looks mad. And that's when it started like in my head. I was like, kind of felt like almost in trouble. You know, like that
You
don't
weren't
look
even
like the
there
same
yet.
guy I talk to all the time. That's not the same guy I talk to all the time.
Oh man.
But no, there was in my head there was zero chance. Like that was not going to happen. There was no chance. With everything that I had done up to that point, there was like, why would that even happen? Like I'm the world's greatest eighth grader right now. I lit up people as a freshman, and if anything, I'm just gonna keep going up and up and up and up and up. You know, and then the years go by, and everything still kept going good. I was, and then when it really got serious for me was PG National. So PG National was my first like, um, I wouldn't say global, but like big platform. It was the first time like now we're getting all the kids in the country,
Yeah.
and we're gonna see who the best kids in the country are. Not the kids around you, right? Now we're taking everybody in the country. We're gonna rank you guys based on how you hit, throw, blah blah blah, do all this stuff. So I go to PG National and I tear it up. I tear it up. Another stepping stone. I run like a horse. I threw well. I hit. I did everything. I get ranked fifth in the country after that. And my head, you know me. I'm super humble, but my head inside goes boof, like, dude, I'm gonna get paid, man. That's where my head's at. I'm gonna get paid,
Yep.
man. Like, this is gonna be awesome. And sure enough, like, and knowing what I know now as a hitting coach too, I had plenty of stuff to work on, and stuff that I wasn't even working on that I people people didn't really tell me the stuff I really needed to work on. It was just kind of like, do this, do that, but I didn't know what I needed. And now I go back and I look at videos of when I was there, and I'm like, bro, if I would have just done this, that wouldn't even have been a question.
Yeah.
And my biggest knock was, Roger Tomas can speak on this, right? Dude, I struggled with a good breaking ball. I couldn't even pick up a good breaking ball. Like, I remember going to East Coast Pro, and Cole Sands from FSU was the first real good breaking ball I saw. True slider. Bro, that guy threw me 3 breaking balls in the dirt, and I swung at him like, how am I supposed to hit that? Like, it just looked straight out of my hand, and it was the first time people go, there's a hole there. You know what I mean? There's a hole there. Is he going to be able to do that at the next level? Because at the next level, now everybody's got a good breaking ball. And then it was like this fight of like proving that I could hit a good breaking ball at the next level. That's basically that was my senior year. It was me trying to prove that I could hit a breaking ball, a good one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just like this big question of whether I can do it. Then it was like, he's power first over bat, right? So I was one of the best power hitting high school hitters, but is he going to actually hit? You know, is he going to actually be able to put the barrel of the bat at a high level? And then it was like, for the draft for me, I in my head, I went from being like, I'm for sure getting paid to like, who's going to take a chance on me to pay me? You know, like, who's gonna be daring enough to give me the money to let me go do this and see if I pan out in 5 years or not. You know what I mean? And then it was like this game of like where people were gonna get picked, and if there was the slots were going, and am I gonna get enough? Am I gonna get paid? The teams knew they were gonna over. If I didn't go in the first round, they knew they were gonna have to overpay me. That was like done deal. Yeah. Like, okay, we're gonna take you. And sure enough,
you got first round money.
Yeah, I need first round money to go. If not, I'm going to school. And on top of that, though, and this is something that needs to be talked about more. Before me was Albert Almora. He got paid $3.9 million. His slot was like 3-4. Got overpaid. So you and I, up to this point, what do we consider money? $4 million, $2 million.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's
right?
it.
So if Albert gets paid that, bro, how am I not worth 2?
Or 1 or
1.
Yeah, like, whatever.
1.5. Like, come on. Like, I'm the best power hitting high school hitter in Miami right now.
Yeah.
I'm not worth that money. Like, you're flopping. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
But what we don't understand is like, dude, one, that is real money, yes. But to be a big leaguer, you don't need that money. Someone just got to kind of give you money and give you time so you can figure it out. But we don't see it that way. We're like, no. I'm going to go get my degree. I'm going to come back in 3 years and you're going to have to pay me double, because that's what everybody tells you. But that's not always the story. Thankfully, let's talk about Zach Collins. That was the story, right?
Yeah.
That was the story there, right? Didn't get paid what he wanted, raked for 3 years, made $4 million, whatever it was. Awesome. Everybody wants to talk about that. But nobody wants to talk about the guys that were big time in high school, go to college, and everything doesn't pan out. You know what I mean? Whether it's injuries or just like, oh, he really couldn't hit. Or it was like just landing in the wrong spot behind somebody you didn't need to. Or landing in the wrong school that like you're like, man, I really don't belong here. Like, nobody talks about that stuff. So what I tell kids these days, and we just had a few kids get drafted out of the academy I'm at, I'm like, I asked them this one question, and I will say this. Alex Mesa asked me this question from the Royals when I was in high school. He asked me, what is your dream? What do you want to do? And I was like, I want to be a big leaguer. right? And he goes, if you want to be a big leaguer, you will sign. And I tell kids all the time, if you want your best opportunity, right, to be a big leaguer, if you get any kind of money out of high school, you got two things on your side: time and investment, right? When you get into professional baseball, those two things are huge. If you have time on your side and some kind of investment inside, you're gonna stick around, dude. And one way you may not hit, and you're gonna still be in Double A someday, because they're gonna just push you along and see if you figure it out and just go and go and go. And when I say investment, I'm not talking $4 million. It could be 500 grand,
yep.
Right? And that's still an investment, right? Because now I'm 26, and I look at 500 grand, I'm like, oof. Like, a team giving you that money, dude, like they care, right? But when you're in high school and you got people in front of you getting 4 million, someone tells you 500 grand, you go, what? It's a slap in the face, dude. Why would I go do that? I'm gonna go to school, get my degree, and I'll be back in 3 years. You know what I mean? Man. So sure enough, like, the draft happens for me. The big teams on me were Seattle and Texas. Those were two big teams on me.
Well, hold on. My bad. We'll get to Seattle and Texas in a second. But how was your senior year? Like, how did you perform your senior year?
No, so my senior year went well, man. Obviously didn't get pitched too much.
That's true.
You know, with being where I was, there was like, people didn't really pitch to me. People pitched around, a lot of balls in the dirt, you know. So it was like, senior year was like me sitting on a breaking ball.
See something up, and that was it. If it didn't come up, it was a walk.
Yeah, so I ended up hitting like 400 with 9 home runs, which is the most home runs ever hit at Matter Academy. Damn. Yeah, I hit 9 bombs at Matter, which is a big freaking deal, because the most after that's like 5. Yeah. So I hit 9 bombs, and I was happy with where I was, bro. Like, I had a pretty good year. I did better at what I thought I struggled with, right? Which was like hitting breaking balls and good breaking balls and stuff. I thought I cleaned it up a lot. I thought I was really starting to understand hitting. I wasn't really yet. You know, I didn't know what waited for me. But I was really, really happy of where I was my senior year. Everything went well. I stayed healthy. I played well. I did everything I could do. I did everything I could do. I worked my butt off. Like, if that year went by and there was any question I could have done more, I didn't want that to happen. So it was like, I was waking up at 5 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, going to iMatter to work out with Danny Santiesteban, driving back home to then go to Matter in the morning. I was doing that every morning my senior year. Yeah, bro.
Just shower at Matter,
bro. All right. Hey, man.
So soft.
I wasn't in college yet, you know.
So soft, bro.
Yeah. I was pretty soft.
That was for anybody listening. That was the stupidest thing he could have done, was drive home.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it was only 5 minutes away, right?
I guess like 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah, I know. All right, whatever. You were driving away from your high school to then go back.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't live far from either, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right, bro. So then, all right, now let's talk about the draft. And that's another good thing, bro. I like to mention that, like, luckily we were around people that did that too, right? Like, working hard was like just what we always did.
That's what we do.
I think like kids nowadays, and I'm sure you see it, like this thing of like working hard is like so like cool and great.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that was so normal, right?
Yeah.
Like, wasn't it just normal? Like, everybody did it. Like, if you didn't work out before school, like, what were you doing?
Yeah, what were you doing? No, I totally agree. And I think what has an influence on that stuff these days is like social media. Social media wasn't as big as it was back in the day when we were there. And now, like, if you're not showing people that you're doing this and doing that, like, oh, it's cool, look what he does. Like, you know what I mean? And then people post about it and stuff like that. Back in, like, we just did it because we had to do it.
Yeah, we didn't have a choice. We didn't give ourselves.
We didn't have to brag to anybody, like, look what I'm doing at this time. You know, if anything, we had to talk about it. We had to talk about it, but not show the world about it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I did this today. You know.
Oh, man. All right. So tell me. We get to the draft, bro. So Seattle and Texas.
Seattle and Texas. Texas was big on me. I went to an All-Star game in Florida, Sebring, Florida. That was huge for me. because now it was like best high school kids in Florida going to Sebring, Florida, playing this all-star game, and all pro teams being there. I went to Sebring, Florida, and I went off. I went absolutely off, and I remember getting text messages from Roger from Texas being like, "Hey, we want to take him in the third round over slot." And the slot in the third round back in the day was like 7-7-7-7, something like that. They had the third overall, the third pick in every round, and it was like Roger was like, "Hey, like if you're gonna take him here, you're gonna have to overpay him. You know that, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, done deal, perfect." So in my head, I'm like, third round, second day,
not 2 million, but I could do maybe a
but
million
I'm,
and
I'm
some
gonna get
change.
1.6.
Whatever.
Like they're gonna pay me, and the draft and a few things had to go my way though. They had to pick a certain player first overall, not overpay them, right? To then for me to have money. So the first day goes by. Was it the first day? Yeah, the first day goes by, and they underpay the first round pick. They underpay the second round pick, and here's where I get screwed. So in 2015, the number one baseball prospect was a pitcher. His name was Michael Matuella from Duke. Mike,
Oh
Mike,
my
Michael
god.
Matuella does not pitch his junior year at Duke because of Tommy John and like back surgery or something. So he slips out of the first two rounds. And this is a dude. Like, hey, when
I
he's
know,
healthy,
bro. I know. We
he's
faced
gonna
him.
be
Yeah,
yeah.
he's the
When
guy.
he's healthy, he's gonna be a dude. Slips into the third round. They overpay Matuella $2 million in the third round. And then they turn around to me and they're like, hey, we got X amount of money to pay you in the fourth round. I was like, nah, I'm going to. I'm going to school. I'm going to school. That's what I want to do because that's not going to be enough for me. And now looking back at it, I'm like, holy
That would
idiot.
have been all right. That would have been all
but
right.
um, um, so that's literally my story, and it's crazy to think like all the things that have to happen for that to like cultivate. But yeah, Michael Matuella was the number one prospect that year. Slips out of the first two rounds, gets overpaid in the third round by 2 million. 2 million. And then I remember that phone call from Rogers, like, all right, man, I'm going to school. And then
Wow.
that was the first time ever. Like I sat there and I was like,
On the floor.
dude, like, what am I gonna? I'm actually going to school. Like it was the first time ever. It was like it was summer, and I was like, oh my god. And there was I'm not gonna lie, it was I felt like the biggest failure. Like it was like, how did you mess this up? Like how do you even end up here from where you were? Like it was like, and it wasn't a failure. You know what I mean? But in my head, it had to be one thing. You know what I mean? And if it wasn't that, then it was a failure. And that's how I felt. And then it was like, dude, it was really, really hard for me. Danny Santiago came the next day to just talk to me and kind of like get me in the right headspace. And then once like I put that to rest, I was like, all right, I'm going to school. It is what it is, and let's go. Let's get after it like we always have been, you know. And then that's it. I threw it in the back burner, bro. And to be honest with you, to this day, like it doesn't eat me alive, knowing I turned down what I turned down. And if anything, like, dude, it's part of the whole story. And I think it like that whole story builds onto who I am today and how I am today and why I'm able to do what I do today. Because if that wasn't a part of it, like I tell kids all the time, like, dude, I can speak to the highs of the highs, but I can also speak to the lows of the lows. Like I've been to both, you know. Obviously at a different level than a lot of people, but I understand. I truly understand. And yeah, man, it was. I went to school, and that's when I watched the Gators play for the first time, and I was like, all right, let's go be a Florida Gator, dude. And I stepped on campus as a freshman in I think it was like July. I went to like summer B, and then the college journey started. And
I was like, what was Gainesville, bro? Like, was that like a culture shock for you? I mean, at least
So
you looked the part. At least you looked the
no,
part.
I definitely looked the part. Gainesville, listen, it was cool because it was my first time away from home. It was my first time away from home, and me growing up as a kid, I feel like I was a kid that was really sheltered, not in a bad way. Like I just kind of like grew up in my bubble. You know, I didn't. I played baseball and I stayed home. I played baseball. I stayed like I didn't really have relationships away from baseball, and it was my first time. Like I was going to go to this place, and now I'm making all the decisions. I'm gonna eat when I want. I'm gonna do laundry when I want. I'm gonna go out if I want. I'm gonna do what I want when I want. You know what I mean? And that's dangerous, dude. You're 17, 18 years old. You've never been
Yeah.
away from home. You don't know anything. And now, like, you got all the freedom in the world. And so it was cool because I grew up a lot. I grew up a lot in the sense of like, I was making my own decisions and I was making good decisions. You know what I mean? And like I was doing what I wanted to do. And but yeah, it was definitely a culture shock, man. It was cool. Like I loved every bit of Gainesville, man. Like, yeah, truthfully, if I wish I could have had the greatest 3 years there because I loved it, man. Like it was different. I loved going to the football games. I'd walk, bro. Our dorms were like these apartment dorms. I walk out of my dorm, take a step, and I was at the field. Take two steps, and I
Oh,
was at the basketball stadium. Take three steps, and I'm at the football stadium. So everything was just like
right there.
you right there, bro. And it was so fun. And I had good friends, different friends for the first time. Like I'm rolling with the white dudes now. You know, I'm rolling with the white guys for the first time. Everybody. My only friend from Miami was Eddie Demarius, and we were really,
That's
really,
right.
really close. But now me and Eddie, we're rolling with the white guys, man. And and I'm like the only guy. We're the only guys that speak Spanish, and we think it's cool and all, But dude, you're different. You really are. You speak different. You say
Even your
things
English is
differently.
different. Even
My
your
English is
English.
different. I remember, bro, saying like, "Oh, wash my teeth," or like, "Drink my medicine," and these people would rank on me
Ah!
because in Spanish is lavarte los dientes,
Yeah.
tomarte el Advil, right? So I would just say like that. They're like, "Bro, it's brush your teeth.
Oh,
Take
you
your
got
Advil."
me. I didn't even.
And I'm like, they're ranking on me for this stuff, and I'm like, "Damn, bro." I'm just getting ranked down, but in a good way, in a good sense. You know what
I
I
know.
mean?
I
But
know.
like,
I know.
it was like the first time I was like, "Oh, I gotta get a little cultured here, dude." I'm gonna stick. Like, I looked the part, but as soon as I open my mouth, boom, where's this guy from?
That that guy just got here, bro. He just got here.
Yeah, this guy just got here, bro. He came off the island from the 305, and they dropped
Yep.
him off in the middle of Florida.
Oh
Um,
man, dude, that's hilarious, bro. That's right. That's so true.
yeah. So I would say stuff like that, and they would just go, bah, bah, bah,
Light you
and
up, bro. Light
light
you
me
up.
up in a good way.
Yeah, of course.
All my teammates, man, at Florida, dude. I'm gonna be honest, like I had such good teammates. I really, really did. And I don't think if I didn't have those kinds of teammates, bro, I don't know how I would have made it through my time there. You know what I mean? It's it's ruthless, man. You know what I mean? If you don't have those kinds of guys around you, and
You're in
then
trouble.
you're bro, it's like mentally, bro, mentally, you're speaking about that experience, like you're coming out of high school and this goes for like any college, right? You're straight out of high school. You're still a kid. You think you're a man because you're 18, you're gone. But bro, you're dealing with people that are 40, 50 years old that have lived life 3 times more than you. And they know what an 18-year-old is because they've run through hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And bro, they play with your brain, they eat you alive, and you don't even know what's happening. And you gotta grow up quick and realize, like, hey, dude, I gotta get in control of my like career here, my life here. Cause like I'm not gonna let somebody else decide everything for me, you know?
Yeah.
And that was like a big like holy cow. So yeah, I went to Florida out of high school, and sure enough, like anything, like any freshman going to a Division 1, like there was some kind of growing pains, and not to mention we had the best pitching staff in the country.
In the
So now
world, in the
in
world,
the
in
in
the
the
world.
world. So I'm going from facing high school pitchers for the most part. Some of the best pitchers I've faced were Frankie Barto and Andrew Cabezas, which are great arms, right? But we're seniors in high school. Now I'm facing guys that are going 1-1.
Dane Dunning.
Dane Dunning, AJ Puck, Logan
9
Shore,
straight strikes.
Sean Anderson, you name it. Brady Singer, obviously being a freshman, Jackson Kolar. Dude, these guys, like, I remember facing, like you said, Dane Dunning for the first time and seeing a real slider like that, and I was like, bro, what did I get myself into?
He was throwing cleanup innings, bro. He was cleaning it up at the end.
And Dane Dunning wasn't even our guy. You know what I mean? Dane Dunning wasn't even our guy. To
AJ
put it like
Puck,
that.
Logan Shore,
Faedo,
bro.
Faedo. Like, dude,
wow.
That's what I was facing every day in the fall. So, granted, dude, it was great for me. Because, like, now I'm facing first rounders every day.
Every second.
Day. Yeah. Every second of the day. Well, I'm facing first rounders. So, what am I? I'm getting better, bro. Even if I'm struggling, I'm being exposed to, like, hey, you got to be able to hit this. So, you better figure out a way to hit it. Now, at the same time, too, like, when I stepped on campus there, I was coming off a great senior season, me feeling like, hey, I'm figuring stuff out here. I got there, and it was like JJ Schwartz had just had like the greatest season of all time. He had like 3-something with 21 bombs as a freshman. And it was like, I stepped on campus, it was like, hey, like everything you do, we're gonna do it this way. And bro, I'm 18 years old, I'm going to this program, I want to fit in. Like, yes, sir. Like, I'm gonna do what you asked me to do because you have JJ Schwartz, you've had Mike Zanino, you've had Pete Alonso. These are all dudes that fit. Like, I'm gonna listen to you. And sure enough, bro, like they started telling me stuff, and it should have been a red flag from the beginning. I remember Sully standing in front of me. Hey, look, you're gonna stand like this, and this guy stands with his feet out like this. You're gonna stand like this and do this, and I was like, yes, sir. You know what I mean?
Yo,
they would and I would do it. And they would videotape me, and he would put my head in one of the squares of the cage.
Yeah.
And he videotaped me. Your head cannot move at all. Your head cannot move at all. And bro, I went from being like this loose,
swaggy, everything.
Swaggy, like to like now I'm like
robot.
I'm this robot that's trying to figure out how to hit. You know, like everything was taken away from me. I come back my freshman spring. And so my freshman fall happens, struggled at the beginning, turned it up at the end. Perfect, right? Figured it out. Freshman meeting, fall meeting. Hey, this and that, you got to work on this, got to work on that. Perfect. Trust the process. Hey, best guy in the spring is winning the job. Got it. Está bien. I get there in the spring, bro, the first guy I faced was Shore. I started lighting up everybody. I was like, bro, let's do it. I got this, right? First series of the year comes, I'm not playing. Banco. I get a pinch hit, I get a hit. Next, the midweek comes, I don't play. We go to Miami, my hometown, bro. I don't play. I just get a pinch hit, and I almost hit a bomb.
I remember that, bro. I remember that.
I almost hit a
deep
bomb.
left center.
Yeah, left center. Hayward caught it, whoever caught it. I almost hit a bomb, bro. I didn't see another at bat after that.
Oh wait, I was there. That's why I remember that.
Yeah, you were in right field. You were in right field. And I didn't see another at bat after that for a long time, bro. And so my freshman story. Now, granted, I'm a big time freshman coming in. I'm not any other freshman. Like, I'm expecting to play. These people are calling me in high school, telling me to turn down money, which is what I did. I turned down money.
A lot of money. A lot of money.
They're telling me, don't go because you're going to come here and make triple, right? And all of a sudden, I found myself like, dude, these people aren't even giving me the opportunity. The light of day. Granted, we did have dudes playing out there. But this is where the problem starts coming. We have dudes out there, but they're hitting 250, 240, and 200. And then you don't get the opportunity. And you start sitting there like, damn, bro, like, why don't I get a shot? Like, what's wrong with me, right? And then every time we were like in a tight situation where we needed a big hit, Danny, grab your batting gloves, go hit. Bro, why do you want me to hit now that I haven't hit all year? But when the game's on the line and you want some that, then you call me, right? So that's what's going through my head. I didn't play every day until the SEC tournament, right? Yes, that's the end of the year. It's the end of the year. So up until the SEC tournament, bro, I got like 20 at bats the whole year.
Wow.
We have Pete Alonso breaks his hand. So when Pete Alonso breaks his hand, we needed Jeremy Vasquez to go to like first base, which opened up an outfield spot. And we had a guy named Ryan Larson, which he was a dude the year before, but he was struggling a little bit that year. And Sully didn't know who to play. And Sully talked to Mike Rivera, which was dude catcher. Mike, like, I don't know what to do. Who do I play? And Mike Rivera, and I'll give all the credit in the world. He goes, why don't you play Reyes? And Sully goes, Reyes? Like, is he ready? I don't know if he's ready. And he's like, dude, like you've played everybody else and they've done nothing. Like, play the damn kid. Sure enough, first game in the SEC tournament, he puts me to play against Alabama. So a big issue we had that year, right? I was good friends with Shore and AJ Puck. And Shore and Puck were, our hitters are always late. Our hitters are always late, this and that. So I finally get my shot to play, and I said, bro, I'm not going to be late. And, bro, my first game starting at Florida, I went 2 for 4 with a game-winning double, 2 doubles against Alabama. And it was like, bro, it was my first time I got like 4 ABs. I got to get in a rhythm. And guess how I started that day? A K and a flyout. And then what? Double.
Bam, bam. Yeah.
I was always a guy that hit better late in the game.
Yeah.
You know, people don't know you well.
Yeah.
Bro, I end up tearing the SEC tournament, and I lose the tournament player to Nick Banks, which went in like the 3rd or 4th round.
With Washington.
Yeah, with Washington, which I just saw him the other day over here. He just retired.
No way, bro.
Yeah, he just retired. But yeah, so I rake. I have a meeting. Sully calls me a meeting, and he sits me in his office and he tells me like, "Hey man, I just want you to know I'm sorry. Like, should have given you an opportunity sooner. Like, you were a dude coming in. Like, you should have had this sooner. My bad." What's my response as a good human being and as an athlete? And like, I was like, dude, no worries. I needed this, bro. This was the first time in my life that like I wasn't the guy. I wasn't the guy, and I had to sit there and swallow it. You know what I mean? I grew from this, right? He goes, and I quote these words, and I will never forget them for the rest of my life. Danny, you're my starting left fielder for the rest of the year and next year. Next game, Banco. And bro, yeah.
He said that after the first game of the SEC tournament, Danny.
Yeah, after the tournament finished, we were going.
Oh, that's right. You were the guy. Yeah.
Tournament finishes, we're going into regionals, and he tells me that, and
he sits you the next day,
and he sits me, bro, and I go like, oh my god, what the heck? Like, this guy just told me all this stuff. Like, what happened?
You were sitting there. You were sure you were talking to Sully? Sully,
yeah,
you were
bro. I was. It was me and him.
Are you sure, bro? Are you sure?
Me and him, bro. I can never like, why would I lie about this stuff? You know, like these are my experiences in life. You know.
Wow, bro.
And I guess I get benched. That's when like that at that point. That's when I started like, holy, like what's going on? Like I'm in no control here. Like it don't matter what I do. At the end of the day, they're going to do whatever they want to do, no matter what I do, right? I don't play. I go, he puts me to play again, right? I go 1 for 3 against FSU. We go to Omaha. I get benched the first game of Omaha. We lose, right? I play my second game Omaha. I go off again. The season is over. He holds another meeting with me. And he tells me that he was sorry. That he's sorry that he benched me, that he wanted to play the defense, blah, 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 blah. This whole story, right? And I'm like, at this point, I was like, oh, okay, like, okay, all right. I'm so confused, like, what's going on? Like, whatever. I go to the Cape, and that's when the talks of me transferring started with Roger. And Roger did want me to leave, and I didn't.
He did.
Roger did want me to go, because he brought it up for the first time, like kind of like, and I was just kind of like, man, like it sounds like a good idea, bro. But I felt like I was running away from something that I needed to like prove wrong. You know what I mean? And I told Roger, I said, Roger, if I go play there in the fall and things don't go my way, can I go JUCO in the spring and end up at Miami? I didn't say I had a different one. At Miami, my junior year, he said, yes, sir. I said, that's what I'm doing. And it was the best decision I ever made in my life because I got to play at Florida my fall and then ended up in Broward. Now, ready? This is when it gets better.
Yo, make sure the pizza's not burning, bro. That's all I'm saying.
No. The oven's warming up. The oven's warming up.
Cool.
I go my sophomore fall, bro, with like something to prove. Like,
hot.
All right. Like, I'm not going to leave a question here, bro. I worked on everything they wanted. I show up there. I was the best hitter that fall. Our best hitter that fall. I hit like 5 bombs. I hit 3 something. Blah, 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 blah. And I start catching word from, because I stayed, my roommates were Dalton Guthrie and Alex Faedo and Eddie Demarius. So Dalton Guthrie had a really good relationship with Sully. Sully would tell a lot of stuff to his dad, and that would trickle down to me. And Guthrie starts telling me, like, hey, man, they either want you to DH or play behind a freshman left-handed hitter named Austin Langworthy. And I start going like, bro, what do I have to do here? Like, I'm our best hitter this fall. And it's not even close.
You're the best hitter on the damn team.
Bro, you can ask people. I took Colwar Yard on scout day. Tyler Dyson, I think was his name. I took him off the what's it called? The hitter's eye in center field on, bro. It was like, I felt like I was playing a video game. You know what I mean? And now this guy, Guthrie's telling me that these people are talking about me playing behind a freshman and maybe DHing, maybe. I was like, no, bro. And that's when I told Roger, I was like, Roger, I'm out, bro. So when I tell Roger I'm out, word gets out of Miami that I'm going to transfer to Broward. Mm-hmm. And word gets back to UF because people have relationships with Sully and Craig Bell. Craig Bell holds a meeting with me and sits me down and says, hey, man, I heard there's word that you're maybe transferring. And I said, Craig, I'm gonna sit here and talk to you like a man. I am. And he goes, Danny, but you're such a big part of this team. And this is all I needed to hear. He goes, you're such a big part of this team. We want you to possibly DH and hit against lefties while Langworthy hits against righties. And that's all. It was like the stamp. I was like, bet.
Thank you.
I heard it from a horse's mouth. Now I'm for sure. And here's the crazy part. They want me to hit against lefties, right? What do I hit better? I hit righties better. I don't hit lefties better. My whole life, I hit righties better. So
wow, bro.
If that's what you want, then you're crazy because you don't really know who I am and you haven't been watching. You know, perfect. And so
hey, did he say that? Did he say that thinking that you were gonna be happy that?
Yeah, I guess he said thinking actually like,
don't worry, bro. You're gonna DH and plateau in the outfield.
Yeah. And I was like,
platoon, whatever.
And then I told Craig, I was like, hey, like, let me figure stuff out, and then like we can talk to Sully about it because Sully didn't know anything. And then it got to the point where like everybody knew but Sully. So I think Craig held a meeting with Sully. What people don't know is that Eddie Demarius was also my roommate. Eddie was a two-way. And I'm going to be honest, I kind of brainwashed Eddie to transferring too. And because Eddie really wanted a two-way and they only wanted him to pitch. Granted, he ended up pitching, made it AAA with Cincinnati, and that was his career path. Like they told him he was going to pitch and he pitched. But so me and Eddie are going to this meeting that I kind of dragged Eddie into in a way. I kind of brainwashed, like, bro, we're leaving. You know what I mean? I don't want you to stay here. We're leaving. We're going to play.
We're gone.
Bro, we're going to this meeting, right? We're walking from our apartment, and I'm telling Eddie, we're leaving because of X, Y, Z. We're leaving because of X, Y, Z, and nobody's gonna tell us otherwise, right? And bro, we sit in this meeting, And the first thing that this guy does, Kevin O'Sullivan, I'll never forget, jeans, sandals, and a pink polo shirt. His kid's running around the office in the meeting, and I sit right next to him, and he puts both of his feet on the conference table in front of my face. And he's like, talk to me. And that's when I started, bro.
You were happy as can be. Yeah.
No, I started telling him all this stuff. And ready? I'm going to tell you this story. This is a good story. Not a lot of people know this story. So that fall.
Hold on. Let me put the light on.
Yeah, go ahead.
It turned dark already. You turned dark.
So that fall, we were like doing competition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Losing team had to do this thing called a triangle. So we run from home to the pole to the pole and back, right? So on my losing team was Faedo and Singer, and they're pitching that day for the what's it called, the inter squad, and I got pissed because we're running and they weren't, and I went around. At this point, I knew I was leaving, and I said, "Bro, I'm gonna stand up to this guy and I'm gonna tell him he's wrong. I'm gonna tell him he's wrong and what he's doing is wrong." And I told that guy, I was like, "Bro, what are they? Are they too good to run?" I told him, "Are they too good to run?" And he's like, "What?" And he stayed quiet. I said, "What, are they too good to run?" He goes, "Oh, they're pitching today." And I said, "I don't care, and I gotta face them." You know what I mean? I told him like that, bro. I was so livid and I knew I was gone. I was like, "Bro, I'm not gonna stay quiet to this man," you know? And it took him 2 days or something, right? He brings a coach to talk to me, and he goes, "Who made you captain around here?" And I stayed quiet. I took it like a man now, right?
Yeah.
We, after our fall practice, we have a meeting, and he starts like complaining about some stuff, and he goes, "And some of you," right? He goes, "Some of you got to go and learn how to go hit a breaking ball," something like that. He said something like that, right? So in the meeting when I have with him, I'm telling him this stuff, and I said, "Sully, and don't worry, I'll go hit a breaking ball for somebody else." And I never said that. I never said that. So fast forward, I leave, I go to Broward. Fast forward, I end up playing Florida my junior year at Miami. I'm facing Brady Singer and Kowar, and what do? I just sit on breaking ball, bro.
Bah!
Yeah, and that's kind of the story there. But yeah, I ended up. And this is what I told, there's more to it. Like, I left because it was a career decision for me, right? Yeah. I felt like as an athlete and as a player, like I told him, I was like, "Look, my dream is to be a big leaguer, right? My dream isn't to be a Florida Gator. And I cannot do that not playing every day, right?" And I said, "Look, I know that," and this was real. I said, "I know the standard is high here, but I told him, whether I go 0 for 4 or 4 for 4, I need to play every day because that's how I'm going to get better to be where I want to be. And I'm not going to do that here." And I left. Boom. And I took, dude, you gamble when you leave because you don't know how things are going to go or how things are going to end up, and on and on and on from there.
That boy's lying, bro. He had that scholarship waiting for him, bro. He knew where he was going, bro. He just had to go hang out at BC for a little bit. How was BC, bro? How was BC?
No, man, bro. That was, so after I was at Florida, baseball was, it felt like a job. It wasn't fun. It felt like I was playing like this all the time. Everything had to be perfect. And you just feel like you can't do anything your way. You're like, you got to fit in this mold, and if you don't fit in it, you're done, right? So going to BC was like the first time again, like, I'm me, and I'm the dude again, and they let me be. And I went to BC and I did my thing, bro. I hit well. I hit like 3 something. I hit like 9 bombs. I hit well, and I ended up getting a scholarship to Miami. And because that's where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to Miami. And the first guy I talked to was JD. And obviously Miami having a lot of like scholarships locked up with guys in the draft, like, and they turn around and they tell me, "This is how this went." JD goes, and I love this story. JD goes, "Hey, we're gonna offer you this," or Gino told me, "We're gonna offer you this," right? It was 18% baseball money. I was gonna have to come out of pocket big time, right? And then they're like, hey, if you're smart though, you'll get X amount of money, right, for school. And I was like, bro, that's like rolling the dice here, bro. I could pay $20,000-$30,000 this year in debt, you know. I called JD and I was like, JD, like, dude, like, what if things don't work out? Like, what if? And he goes, Danny, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Sometimes you got to bet on yourself. And when that man told me that, I said, fine, I'm doing it. So I end up committing to only 18% baseball money at the University of Miami. Wow. And I show up there, and that's all I have, right? I get there, it turns out, thankfully, boom, I have the grades, I get more money, right? So my junior fall, I pay no money.
Oh, there you go.
Right? I come back for my spring, and I owe money, right? And they call me, Jim Morris calls me and goes, it's taken care of. I didn't pay a cent to the University of Miami that year.
Damn.
But all because, bro, like JD sat there and said, Babu, you got to bet on yourself. And I did. And thankfully it worked out. Something worked out in my favor.
Wow,
you know what I mean?
Bro.
Something worked out in my favor. But that's a really cool story that sometimes, you know, it's not always going to be like the sure step forward. Like, oh, yeah, that's what I got to do. Sometimes it's like, oh, I don't.
You got to jump.
You got to jump. And I jumped, and thankfully it worked out, you know.
Danny, I didn't even ask you this ever.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever get any calls your sophomore year for the draft?
Yeah, so same thing. Like Roger, a lot of teams are calling about me getting drafted, and I told Roger, I was like, bro, if it's not X amount of money, don't even bother. And like me coming off of like not playing at Florida, basically, then playing junior college, like who's gonna pay you? You got to go. And then that's when like Roger's like, hey, you got to go to Miami, and now you got to go hit.
Yeah, you gotta prove it.
You gotta go. You gotta prove it. And basically, at this point, I've basically almost lost 2 years of baseball. You know what I mean? I didn't play my freshman year, and then I show up at Broward College, which, granted, it's baseball, but it ain't what you got.
You aren't facing first rounders every day anymore.
You know what I mean? Like, so whatever I did there is like, oh, you know, he's supposed to do that. You got to do that.
Yo, how many college at bats do you really have?
No, not bro. I'm gonna be honest.
Bro, because you barely played your junior year.
I barely played my junior year in Miami. I had 52 at Florida, maybe 100 and something at Broward, maybe close to 200, and then 100 at Miami only because I got hurt. I ended up getting hurt. So
but you were hitting some balloon balls at freaking Miami, bro.
Yeah, I barely played baseball for 3 years, if you really think about it. I lost out on a lot of swings and ABs, yeah.
Bro, you know, that's why I love doing this, Danny. Like, think about how many times we've talked and hit and this and that, but like, I had no idea, bro. I had no idea. Yep. You barely ever, like, no. I might have had 300 at bats my freshman year. Like,
exactly. No, I didn't play baseball. I didn't play a lot of baseball for 3 years, and 3 key years.
Yeah, big years, bro.
Big years. The
like
biggest
development
years. Yeah, I didn't. So really, in my opinion, I really started developing pro ball, and that's when I started really figuring out like what hitting was and what I actually needed and stuff like that. Because I didn't hit for 3 years. I hit BP. You only get so far hitting BP. You know?
Oh, that's insane, Danny.
Yeah. And the sad part is at Miami, when I got hurt, I was hitting 700 with like 2 bombs after 2 weekends. 700. Yo, anything I touched fell. Anything I looked at was a double. It was like the homecoming I needed. And then sure enough, I dove into a bag and I busted my thumb and I missed the rest of the year. You know,
bro. How did it feel though to put on that jersey, bro?
Oh, dude, bro, it felt so special. It was so exciting and something that every kid from Miami has to experience is like playing on that level and then having the city come watch them. Because now, you know, who watches you? Mom and dad, grandpa, and the people around you. Now the city of Miami the people that love baseball in Miami are gonna go watch you, and then it's like you become an icon. That's how you become a Willie Abreu, and
Chill,
and
bro.
everybody knows. But you know what I mean. It's special. It's really special, especially growing up in Miami. You know, it's a lot of kids' dreams. You know, if you don't play pro ball, that's where you want to go. You want to go play at Miami at Mark Light and hit bombs over the freaking scoreboard. You know, like that's what you want to do. And I really enjoyed my time in Miami. It was the first time like I was around guys again that I knew. You know, one being Romy, Cabezas, Barto. It was like, hey, relax. Like
These are your boys.
These are your boys again. Like you're good, man. Like now I will say like when I went to Miami, I also had like that vendetta of like still having to prove something because like I didn't play my freshman year. I just come off playing junior college baseball, and then inside of me too is like, hey, can you hit at this level? Or are you faking it? You know what I mean? Fake it till you make it.
How you been like?
Those are the things going through your head. You know what I mean? And you're like, yeah, same thing. I gotta prove myself. And sure enough, I was our best hitter. I fought like 400 and blah blah blah. And that's how everything worked out.
Wow.
But like, bro, it was always like after high school, it was always from there on. It was like prove yourself, versus like let the name do the work. You know what I mean? It was that switch for me and it was like that from there on, even in pro ball, because I end up getting hurt. I don't play much. I go in the 28th round. I take whatever money. Now I'm in a system. Yeah, I'm playing pro ball. They drafted me, but who am I? I'm the 28th rounder that they gave. Now it's like prove yourself again. And I remember being in pro ball and kids going like, "What round you going?" And as an older person, I was like, it's a long story.
Bro. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
It's a long story. They're like,
I'm glad you signed at 18
what?
Or 14 or however old you are.
They'd be like, what? And I remember like Kingston Liniak and Parker Meadows asking, and these are kids that got paid out of high school. Yeah. I was like, don't worry. And a big part of like when I got to pro ball, I really wanted to help those kids out and have them understand the position so that they put themselves into, because they didn't understand that. Right? Like you sign out of high school, you get money. Like you think it's like, I'm going to be gone in a second. It's like, bro, relax. You're going to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stay in there, get your ABs. You're going to be all right. They're going to take care of you. You know, relax. The hard part is over, right? Getting in with some money. Now you got to get in the big leagues, which is hard too, but relax.
But you could just play every day.
You can play. You can just go
I think
play.
that's one of the big things that you forget, or you don't know, not forget. You just don't know that it takes time.
It does take time.
Like,
it takes time.
If only they drafted you and said like, hey, like forget about trying to get to the big leagues, just play.
Just go play.
I just want you to play every day and have fun.
Go have fun.
That's it. Exactly. But the idea of like, I gotta make it to the big leagues, it could help, but it could also hurt, because then you're like,
it hurts.
You're like, oh man, like, why aren't I getting called up? Or why? Yeah. It's like, you know who told me this, bro? Peter O'Brien, bro.
Oh my god.
He said,
I haven't heard that in a while.
Wow, bro. JC's playing against him and stuff in Mexico. So bro, I'll never forget, we were at FIU hitting, and I go, Peter, what's the best advice you ever got? And he goes, bro, the best advice I ever got, and I think it was from Ryan Howard, I think told him, he goes, every game that you play is you're playing in the big league. Every day. Doesn't matter where you're playing, right? Because he got called up, called down, up, down, up, down, all that stuff. And he was frustrated every time he got called down. Like, all those guys that are big league fringe guys, when they come to AAA, they either rake because they're that good, or they get frustrated and don't care, don't run, don't hit. They're like, bro, they got to call me back up. Whenever they call me back up, I'll turn it on when I get there. Yeah. And it's like, no, bro, just have fun every day. Every day is a big league game.
Yep.
And it's like, when you get there, you'll be ready, and when you're down, you're good too.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, that's such good advice, bro. Like,
good advice.
It's like, it's so true. Every game, it's the best game ever. Doesn't matter if you're playing in a Sunday league, independent ball, big leagues, no matter where you are, high school, every single game is your big league debut or whatever it is. Like, always be prepared for the best.
Yeah. That's a good mindset to take in all that stuff, bro.
Yeah, bro. It's tough.
It's a grind.
What a beautiful. Could you have now looking back, bro, being that 6, 7-year-old kid at Hialeah
Yeah,
Gardens playing, like, could you imagine this is how the ride would have gone?
bro. You know, I'm. Does a part of me wish it went otherwise? Of course, that's all of us. But I'm so grateful that it went the way it was or it went because now I've learned my real passion, and that's like I want to help people, right? I want to help kids, and I do it 8 6 8 hours a day, giving lessons to kids, and because of my experiences and what I did, it's giving me one, the patience to do what I do, and two, like I care for all these kids and I want to show them the right way because the way I did things, and I want to do all this stuff, and it's all because of everything I went through. So like looking back on it now, like like some may say or may think like, dude, I'm one of the biggest failures to come out of Miami. You know what I mean? When it comes to like,
Stop.
that's what I think to myself sometimes from where I started. But like, now I live in Wisconsin, and I will say like it was moving here was huge for me. And I tell Claudia this all the time. When I got released, it was the first time I was like, hey, bro, you ain't gonna play baseball no more. Right. And I didn't want to go play indie ball. Moving here was like a clean slate. Nobody knew me. I had nothing tied to my name. It was me. And guess what time it was again? Time to prove myself again, but in a different world, right? So now you start building the name again. And it's been fun, man, doing what I do. And because of everything that I went through, is who I am and what I do today, it all kind of like helps it out. So
It goes hand
definitely
in hand.
proud. I'm proud.
Yo, I'm proud of you too, bro. You're killing it. Keep doing it, bro. Keep doing it. Because when I have kids, I'll just put them in your basement, bro.
Yeah, you can come here in the basement.
Nah, bro. Let them sleep on the floor in the basement, and then you train them, bro. You train them
Yeah,
for me.
yeah, that's fine, man.
Oh my god, bro. Yo, I'm so proud of you, bro. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
spending this time with me. This was amazing. I'm feeling good. At least feeling great.
Yeah.